Welcome to Philly Fortune Talks with your host, Jake Penny, where the city's brightest minds share the secrets behind their success. Are you ready to be inspired?
Welcome to another episode of Philly Fortune Talks, where we showcase the journeys of Philadelphia's most inspiring entrepreneurs and business leaders. Today, we are excited to introduce Carmen Caruso, a rising star in real estate industry with an incredible story of perseverance and success. Carmen's journey is truly inspiring. After dropping out of college, he spent countless hours driving for Uber, working 60 hours a week to make ends meet. Despite the challenges, Carmen's determination and drive led him to become a top realtor with 10 million in sales. His entrepreneurial spirit didn't stop there. He went on to found REM Acquisitions, a real estate wholesale company that just in its first year sold 40 houses and nearly hit seven figures in that first year. Carmen's expertise in leadership and business strategy has been instrumental into his success by implementing effective systems, processes, and fostering a dynamic team environment. He has laid a strong foundation for continued growth. With ambitions and plans to reach 25 million in sales within the next 5 years, Carmen aims to build a billion-dollar enterprise. Join us as we delve deep into Carmen's remarkable journey, exploring the strategies that he fueled his success and gain insight into his vision for the future. This episode is a must watch for aspiring real estate professionals and entrepreneurs. Let's get started on Philly Fortune Talks.
I appreciate the intro.
Now, how'd I do on the intro? Was it good?
It was a good intro. It was a good intro. I appreciate it. It was a long one, but I appreciate all the kind words.
It definitely is takes a lot of wind to get through the intro.
Sure.
So, your journey is pretty inspiring. Can you share a moment what motivated you to transition from like driving Uber to entering the real estate industry? What was that about? Uber and then real estate.
Yeah, I mean, before Uber, I was in college, right? I went to Temple for 3.5 years, and I was just lost in the sauce pretty much, right? I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was hopping around majors, stuff like that. And it wasn't until I actually transferred out of Temple into Holy Family, into the radiology program, I'm sorry. And I was there literally for like 3 days. And I said, dude, this shit is not for me. I was like, I'm going to be in an x-ray room for the rest of my life. No shot. Like, I knew there was more. So at that point, the decision, having a conversation with my mom didn't want me to drop out. My dad really didn't care. He was like, do what you want. He didn't even want me to go to college to begin with. I told my mom, I was like, hey, listen, give me 1 year. I'm going to go get my real estate license. I'm going to drive Uber temporarily and watch where I'm at in 1 year, pretty much. And that's what I did. I mean, I dropped out in late August and then Ubered literally like 60 hours a week, got my real estate license. I started taking the test as soon as I dropped out, studied to take the test. And then I took the test literally like a month and a half, 2 months later. And then from there, like just ground running, open houses, six open houses on the weekend. I was cold calling, I was running the neighborhood, handing out flyers, stuff like that. And I was still Ubering at the time. But I started to pick up steam as a realtor. I think my first year I did about $6.5 million in sales volume, and I sold about 17 homes. So I was like, cool, that's like a good start. Most average realtors, they might sell 3 to 5 homes. I did a little bit above average. Cool, no problem. I was like, all right, I want to get this even bigger. So let's see how much I can do in my second year. Second year comes around, I wind up selling 34 houses. And so doubled, which was great. But I saw not the work, because I'm not afraid of the hard work, but I saw it was just a lifestyle, let me put it that way, that I did not want to live. Open houses every weekend. I didn't have the freedom, to work from my house. I was in the car a lot. I really don't like driving. And I had to go actually meet people physically in person when I realized I was very good over the phone. So I was kind of like in a stage where like I was making decent money, but I also wasn't super in love with the process. I met a buddy of mine, his name was Santos, and he was wholesaling. He helped me buy pretty much all my rental properties up until this point. I do have 10. He was wholesaling, and he was like, yo, like, we are doing the same amount of work. It's the same exact process. just there's slight tweaks and slight different things that you got to do as a wholesaler than a realtor. So pretty much he convinced me after months on months to switch over to wholesaling, because I was a little afraid at first. I'm not gonna lie to you. Just because I had consistent deal flow. I was doing 4 to 5 deals a month, and I had money coming in. I was afraid that if I dropped everything I was doing here and picked up something new, there was going to be a period where I wasn't making no money, and that just wasn't happy for me. So January 1st, 2023, I did decide to actually make the switch. And believe it or not, I got my first wholesale deal like 2 days later, cold called, under contract, and closed in like 21 days. It was a shell in Southwest Philly, made like $7,500. From there, I then felt comfortable, and I realized that it was the same exact process. The only thing that was different was I wasn't going out on listing appointments. I was giving offers over the phone, and I was running my numbers and then giving offers over the phone and then dispoing properties. So wasn't much of a difference. First month I did like 1 deal. I think the second month I done like 2 deals. Third month 3. Just kept growing and growing and growing. And come, I guess, late April, I got connected with somebody from high school. His name was Jeff, and he wanted to come along, learn the real estate game. I think he was actually Ubering at the time. It was in the restaurant industry. Wasn't really happy what he was doing, so he came along. He was hustling. Winded up becoming my dispo guy. We winded up starting REM acquisition end of May of 2023. And it was just off the ground running from there. Couple $100,000 months. We're continuously doing anywhere from 4 to 6 deals a month, and we're averaging between 50 on the low end to $100,000 on average on a monthly basis.
Awesome.
That's pretty much our story. Since then, we added a couple transaction coordinator and an acquisition person, and we're just growing.
So where do you see yourself being in 5 years? What's the goal to get to your peak?
So this is a good question. So when we talk about the acquisition company, so like the bigger picture for me is REM Inc., right? And that's going to be the holding company with other different avenues, like maybe a couple title companies, a closing company, all this type of stuff. Like I have a big goal and vision in mind. Particularly for REM acquisition, we want to be doing $25 million a year gross. And I want to be at least at like net, like 30% profit margin. I do believe we can hit that goal. I'm very confident in that, just by the way we're scaling. With the leadership and like the mentors I'm always invested into, we just continually keep growing. And just getting there is just adding more systems in, adding more processes in, and at the same time bringing on the right people and then investing a lot into marketing.
So what does 25 million in sales look like on the numbers when you look at the numbers?
What do you mean by that?
Like how many dispos is that?
I didn't back those numbers in. I wish I knew you were going to ask me that question. I would have been a little more prepared. I don't know that number because we are experimenting with other markets right now as well, because we're out of Philly.
Right.
Honestly, the Philly market sucks. People are buying stuff at 40, 50 cents on the dollar. When if you go to other places like Tennessee, parts of Ohio, Florida, you can get somebody, an investor, to pay 75, 80 cents on the dollar. Right.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yep. And your spreads are significantly bigger. So I don't want to shoot myself in the butt right now and tell you, hey, we need to do 500 wholesale deals a year at an average of $17,000 assignment, because we could hop into a market where that assignment goes up from 17 to 28, and now we're doing less deals.
Right. Yeah, it's a variable number. It's going to be totally different.
Yeah.
On every deal. So what key strategies have you implemented to grow so quickly with your wholesale company?
Another good question. So we brought on VAs. So at first I was doing all the cold calling, but there's only so much manpower I could do cold calling, following up, giving offers. locking up deals than giving it over to Jeff to dispo. So we brought on four VAs. I'm now doing a lot of the acquisitions. Still doing all the comping. I'm still doing all that stuff. I do have an acquisition guy as well. But the reason we're able to scale so quickly is because we got a lot of lead flow coming in.
Hmm.
That's the main thing. And then the other main thing is we need to convert the leads. So it's lead generation and lead follow-up. The lead follow-up, the conversion has to be there. So your skills have to be there. And I do feel relatively confident in my skills just for how many deals we're doing. I think like already this year alone, we closed 20 deals. And we did 40 last year, we did 20, and we're about a month or so away from Q2, and probably like another 50, 60 days. So I think we're going to probably do anywhere between 55 and 65 deals this year.
Nice.
But to answer your question, it's continuously bringing in leads and then continuously converting leads is what helped us scale.
Yeah, converting is like when I tried to start a wholesale company, my follow-up game was totally trash. Man, there would just be leads sitting in the pipeline all the time, not being follow up. And I know you guys sometimes will follow up like every day with these people. And I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, man, that's good. That's why you get so many deals.
Yeah. And like if I give an offer out to somebody and they say I have to think about it, I am calling them 3-4 times a day, every single day until they pick up the phone. And then when they block me, I go off another number and call them 3-4 times a day. Like there's people that I gave an offer to a year and a half ago. People would have chalked up as a dead lead after 2 weeks. Me, I'm
Right.
still following up with them. And they're like the leads that people think they're dead, but you can actually bring them back to life. It's all situational based for people, right? Like they might not actually be in the situation where they need to sell when I gave them that offer. But say 6 months down the line, maybe they had a death in the family, a relative passed away, or they need to move away or something. Now they need that offer. And if you stop following up with them after a month, you never would have been able to grab that lead.
Right.
So we have a good follow-up process, I would say.
Yeah, I know that the one deal that I bought from you, you were following up with that lady for over a year, having FaceTimes with her and everything. But that
Yeah.
was what, a $30,000 wholesale fee. So, dude,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
fuck, a year for $30,000, just sending a text message, hopping on a phone, FaceTime, and whatever. It's crazy.
Yeah. 30,000. And then I think that deal, there was an offer memorandum from a previous buyer years ago. We had to work out some details there, had to give them a little money. But other than that, dude, it's just follow up, man. It's lead generation, lead follow up, dispo. That's
So
it.
speaking of that deal, not that deal specifically, but can you describe a deal that you had that was particularly challenging, how you navigated it to get it to closing?
See, for me is no deals are easy, right? There's
Right.
always issues and always situations. I think that one was probably our most challenging one, just because we had to run title, then for title to come back and say that there's an offer memorandum, which for anybody who doesn't know, is pretty much the contract. The seller was under contract with somebody else before, and they might have ghosted them, left off on a bad foot or something like that. So that buyer actually put that purchase agreement and recorded that with the county. So pretty much blocking any further sales.
Hmm.
So I pretty much had to go find that person, right? Skip trace and find their number, call them up, sit on the phone with them for 5-6 hours, just to get them to say, hey, I'm not interested in buying this property anymore. I'll let you buy it, right? And then negotiate a fee with them to release that offer memorandum. So that was probably the most difficult deal for us, just because it was a lot of talk time with especially the person that had the memorandum up, and then also negotiating because he wanted like $7,000 or $8,000 at the time. I mean, I knew I had a large spread in it, but I wanted to keep that large spread because I got a team to feed.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, I mean, $3,500 to make $26,500, I'm going to take that any day.
For sure. For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was probably one of the most interesting deals. Well, not most interesting, but I would say that specific deal was the first time I ever actually dealt with a offer memorandum that was clouding title. Like
Okay.
I never dealt with that before. So that was an interesting deal. And, well, I'm glad we got
Yeah.
it done. I'm in the process of kicking the people out right now. So that's fun. But it was
Yeah.
good to get that deal done.
Yeah. And offer memorandums, I'm actually putting one on a property today. I put them on a lot of properties where sellers, tend to back out of our agreement or say they don't want to sell no more, or maybe they ghost you, or they wind up getting another offer that's slightly higher. I'll block that sale, no problem. And I kind of sound like a scumbag the way I just described it, but when you, like, for instance, this guy today, um, spent 2 weeks following up with them, having conversations with an older gentleman. And finally, we agreed on a number after 2 weeks. We had to officially go in person to get the contract signed. We had to sit with him at his house for 2, 3 hours. And then just for him to call the next day and say, hey, listen, I don't want to sell no more. Well, time is money. My time is valuable just like anybody else's who's self-employed or a business owner. So it's only right. Hey, if you're not going to want to sell right now, I understand. But there is going to be a time in your life where you probably want to sell that property, and I'm going to be that guy because we just agreed. So I'm going to put an offer memorandum on that property, just so when you do decide whether to sell, whether it's 2 years down the line, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, I'm going to be your guy. And guess what?
Yep.
The market probably appreciated a lot in value. So that $70,000 offer we agreed upon, we're going to close out on that number, and I'll probably just clean the place out and relist it and make even a larger spread than I was going to.
Absolutely. Yeah. Honestly, a lot of people in Florida do that. That's a big
Yeah.
thing down there where they cloud the title. Once they get in their contract, they put that offer memorandum and record it. I mean, it's not that big up here for some reason. I don't know, but it's a real smart idea because it makes sure you get paid for your work and your time.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably not a big thing around here just because, dude, wholesalers and agents suck, dude. Like, people don't know what they're doing. They don't spend the time to educate themselves. They don't like, they just think it's like super easy. So they don't continuously learn. They don't know how to do novations, create a finance, buy and relist. They don't know how to do any of this stuff. And that's where somebody like myself and my team, we have the advantage because we take the time to learn. We have great mentors around us. We ask questions, and we have the ability, if a cash offer doesn't work, okay, let's see if a novation works. Novation doesn't work. Oh, you got a mortgage. Let's see if some type of terms will work out for you. So we have that ability, and that's why we're able to do more deals than most people, because we just have options. We're providing a service to people, right? Like, you go to Apple, you're getting an iPhone, you're getting AirPods, you're getting all these services and products. For us, we want the same thing. We want to be able to offer multiple different products to people so we can best serve and fit their needs.
Yeah, I like that approach. When I was actually in acquisitions, trying to grow a wholesale company, just pretty much for myself, honestly, I
Mhm.
gave multiple offers like, hey, seller finance, here's a seller carryback, here's a cash offer, all that stuff. So
Right.
that way they could choose. Like, you never know what they're going to take or what fits their needs. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, the more you dig into that seller, the more you're going to find out their needs. But, it doesn't hurt to give them multiple offers.
exactly.
So what does your daily habits look like? Your routines that help you stay focused and effective?
Yeah, I love this question because it's the $1 million process, right? I treat my life like I'm legitimately a robot. I do the same thing every single day, because I know if you do the mundane, boring shit that you don't want to do on a daily basis, you'll eventually have the life you want. So for me, I used to not be too much of a morning person. I kind of switched this around a little bit. I'm waking up, I'm doing my morning routine, which consists of sitting in front of a red light bed, or red light therapy, I'm sorry, journaling and writing my goals down, some breath work. Then I'll step outside as long as it's not raining or anything like that, put my feet in the ground, stretch, and then off to the gym, right? Go to the gym, come back, hit the cold plunge for 5 minutes, cold plunge, go to work. For me, that's the morning routine that gets me right, that makes me feel amazing. And then from there, it's just working up until, maybe 6 o'clock. So from 10:30, 11 till 6. And depending on what the day is, I might have MMA training. I might just do more cardio. I might go back to the gym till like 8 o'clock. And then home, maybe following up, doing a little bit more work. And at that point, then I'm settling down, I'm reading, I'm doing additional learning, like we talked about, to increase my skills, and then just visualization at nighttime and going to bed. I mean, that's my routine pretty much every day of the week.
Yeah, I like that. The morning ritual, the millionaire morning. Um, it's all about you first. You got to
Yeah.
set yourself up first so that you can conquer the day. Where a lot of people don't go like that. They wake up, run out the door, go to work, and start their day off miserable right away, sitting in traffic,
Yep.
being at work. So no, that's good. But speaking of like learning and whatnot, is there any like books, podcasts, or mentors that have significantly helped to influence, your approach to real estate?
Yeah, dude. So I mean, I have a large library of books. It obviously all started with the basic Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then it's led into many different things. Right now, I'm on 48 Laws of Power. So I've read so many business books. I've read so many things that help me, cold calling books, business, money, investing, all this stuff, right? So reading is 10 pages a day. It has been big in my growth. Just, I'm 25, uh, dropped out of college right before my 21st birthday. So been doing this for like 4 years now. Um, it's crazy how much you can accomplish in 4 years or 4 to 5 years. And as long as you're growing, you're learning, you're implementing, and you're around the right people, you can easily excel your life like very quickly. In terms of mentors, like I said, I have buddies and stuff that help me get started in investing, and then also help me get started in wholesaling. Looked at on YouTube and stuff like that, because like YouTube's free. I When I started wholesaling, I was a lot of Brent Daniels and Pace Morby, the basics.
Mhm.
Right now, I just paid for Eric Klein. He's a big guy in the wholesale space. Um, I just paid like 10 grand to be in his mentorship for the next 90 days. And already like he's making tweaks to my business. We had one-on-one calls that are set that, we're making tweaks that are, going to get my average deal spread and get into better markets, so it's just getting the like I'm following a process and a model, right? Like this guy, he's been in the wholesale industry for 3 years, and I think he's going to do a little over $8 million, right? So he
Wow.
has a proven process, right? Systems and process in place. I would be stupid not to just mimic his processes, right?
Right.
Like, so that's what I'm like currently right now, like, learning from, implement all his processes, getting into the markets that he's telling me to, just learning and just having fun with it, dude.
So, all right. You got him doing all like these new systems and process and everything like that. What are some newer things that maybe you never saw before that's like new and upcoming trends in the wholesale business?
So this isn't from him, but this is what I already saw: AI. So AI is the next big thing. And and this goes with any industry, but the real estate industry is predominantly like older people that have been around a long times, and some of them still use fucking AOL, right?
Yo, Liana still has an AOL.
I was that's crazy.
It is. It
Um,
is nuts.
but AI is going to be the determinant, like where a lot of people are going to fail out of the industry if they don't adapt to it. So that's what I've been learning and studying, how I can implement AI into my wholesale business, whether it's, them shooting automated text and having conversations until they're a warm lead, right? Or maybe they're actually my VAs now. I don't think there's a product out there, at least that I haven't found yet, that can actually be the cold callers and have a good conversation and not sound like a robot.
Yeah.
But AI is so new that I think give 2 to 4 years, I think there will be a product like that, and I will implement that product because it's going to cut back on cost, and they're probably a lot more intelligent than somebody out in the Philippines. No offense to the people out in the Philippines.
I've actually seen like AI agents. Um, I saw that come up before. But like you said, they're not very, it's not totally developed yet where it doesn't sound like a robot.
Yeah. It's too new, dude. It's too new. You know, it will develop. There's too many smart people out there that won't develop it. You know, so for now, for me, I probably don't utilize it the way I should, but I do utilize it maybe to chop up some reels that I want to post. If I have a question, I'll just chat GBT.
Yeah.
Anything of that nature. Like I think, for instance, I can give you a prime example of how I'm using it in real estate right now. So trying to find new markets aside from what Eric is teaching me, and what market he wants to be in. I might say, hey, what what is I need a major market that has a population of over 300,000 people that also has a major airport around it. They're going to list me 10 of those places. Then I can say, okay, narrow it down to cities, right? Give me the most populated cities. And this is how I would use it to find a new market to go into, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Getting granular on that stuff.
Mhm.
Um, what's like one piece of advice you have for aspiring real estate professionals and entrepreneurs in general that want to make a significant impact? What would it be?
Yeah, it's very simple. Create a schedule and stick to it. There's nothing more than that. I remember when I was a realtor, I'd wake up this was before I even implemented great morning routines, but I would wake up, cold call for 3, 4 hours because that was the lead source I chose, lead follow up, and go on appointments. And I did that consistently every single day. And I'd watch people that just got into the industry or even were in the industry a little bit more than I was, and I was doing more deals than them. And I said, well, how are you doing this? Want to grab coffee with me, want to grab some lunch with me and talk to me. Like, how are you doing this? I'm like, bro, I'm just fucking doing the work that you're not doing, you know? And that's the same in the wholesale realm as well. People are like, how does your team grow so fast? And to be fully transparent, like we're not even that big, right? Making anywhere between 50 to $100,000 it sounds like a lot of money, but it's not, right? It's really not. So, but to get us there, it was all hard work and daily action consistently over a long period of time. And I know people hate that because they want the secret sauce on, how'd you get there? How can I take shortcuts? There is no shortcuts, right?
Mm-mm.
You just got to do the work.
Yeah. And for people that, ask, can I pick your brain? Man, I always reply, damn, that sounds like it hurts. I don't want my brain to be picked.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
exactly.
or they offer you, can I get, can I get coffee with you or something like that? It's like, yeah, I
I
get
have
it. Like,
coffee at
I
my
love
house.
I love helping people, but at the same time, my time's not worth a $5 coffee. Like there's
Yeah,
other ways to go about it, than, saying something like that. Like provide value to the person or something, send them a letter in the mail or I don't know, just be different than, hey, can I
right.
pick your brain or, can I get coffee with you or something?
Yeah, look at look at how we got connected and how we're on this podcast, right, together. The only reason I'm here, you know anything about me, is because we skip traced the list of LLC buyers in the area. I think we got your father's number at the time, and then he passed your number along.
Yeah,
But
you did.
but but we called you up and we provided you some sort of value by saying, hey, we got this property. I see you guys own X amount of properties in Chester. We got this property. Are you interested in it? That kind of caught your attention. You're like, well, I'm buying in this area. And then from there, it was like, okay, well, let me know if you have any more. Then it formed the relationship, right? But the only way it started is because we were able to provide you some sort of value. If we didn't provide you any value, we probably would not be having this conversation, or I could probably not pick up the phone and call you whenever I need to, you know?
Right, right. Absolutely. Yeah. And I remember that. That was really funny. My dad was like, this asshole keeps calling my phone. He's asking for you. He's saying I own properties. I'm like, Dad, he was like, here, take the number. But no, it worked out great. We bought a shit ton of deals from you since then. So it obviously works, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, look, we're working on that major project together too.
Yeah, yeah, 66 units. So we'll get that one done. So for any
Yeah.
listeners that are listening in and want to connect with you, learn more about what you're doing, REM acquisitions, what's the place for them to go and learn more?
So I have a YouTube channel where I'm just starting to post. I did an hour long video that I just posted about 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to be posting more there. This one, hopefully, I'm going to be uploading there as well. And I got a couple other interviews there. But where you can actually reach me is if you just hit me up on Instagram. I believe my Instagram is Carmen Caruso 98. I'll leave it. We can leave it in the description because I don't remember off the top of my head, but I believe it is that. Yeah, if I answer DMs easily, right? Like I'm not some person that's like big and famous that I'm too cool for people, right? I'll help as best as I can, give you knowledge on my experiences now, and if there's a point where you say, hey, listen, can you help me get started? I'm definitely down to jump on like a 20-30 minute call and just give you the a formula to get yourself started. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. You can find me on Instagram.
Awesome, Carmen. Well, it was a pleasure having you on Philly Fortune Talks today.
Thank you. I appreciate coming on.
Thanks for tuning in to Philly Fortune Talks with Jake Penny. Inspired to share your success story? Visit phillyfortunetalks.com/guest and let's inspire together.